Okay. Monday, July 31st, 4:30 p.m. And this is the Facilities Committee meeting with the Augsburg Bridge and Port Authority. And we will start with the business items I and A in the Commerce Park. And I'm assuming you would have some stuff for us.
Yeah, basically I just set up these, what you see there in the agenda to bring everybody on the facilities committee up to date on where we are with all of these, because you're not on, some of you aren't on the child care, and then just knowing where we're at, I felt it was just time to kind of update you on that. On the child care initiative, we have received a grant award of 2.1 from the USDA, and currently we are submitting an application with a CFA that was sent in last week, and we're seeking a CFA award of 40% of the total project cost, which is $1.9 million. If we receive that, we basically I think we can get started. We're pretty much there where we could get going on, and I'm looking to do an RFQ for engineering services, at least get somebody in place and get them ready. So I've got that half done, but I feel we need to get that in place. And then it would be all dependent on, going forward, would be depending on the funding that we get. So we're good there. We also have another grant out there from, it is the
Northern Border Association.
Yeah, Northern Border, for almost $1 million. And in that, there's a child care, in that grant application, there's they're opening it up to childcare as part of their funding. It's kind of new there, so under that we submitted an application. I don't know when we'll hear about that. I think it's usually August or September, but that would put us over the top with that. So, and you can see in the funding sources there, we did submit a request to Stefanik's office in May of last year, and that was not awarded. We found out on that. So let's see really I'm just going through like phase 3. I've updated the dates for facilities design. We want to get started on that probably in November of 2023 if funding comes through, and then phase 4 would be construction. Spring of 2024, and approximately 16 to 18 months. We'd like to get it dried in by winter of 24, 25, and then have it substantially complete by June of 25. And then that would give you 2 months to get ready for basically fall of 2025. It kind of matches with the school, but you can see all of the summary there under phase 4. So this is what we use each time when we bring the child care initiative group together, and we add to it and kind of use it as our guide from a planning standpoint. So I wanted you to just see that. That's how we do that, and if you've got any questions on that, Patty and I will try to answer that, or Anthony, any questions you might have.
When do you think we're going to hear back from the regional council?
I imagine that could be
Before December?
Oh, definitely. I think maybe September, October, maybe October. It's a rolling deal, but yeah, maybe after the annual. I don't know. It may be the amount of applications they receive that might dictate how long it takes, but I would imagine before December.
Good. Fits in with a timetable.
Mhm.
in the northern border. When is that application gone in yet?
It's already in. I can't remember when we normally see, either awards on that, but it's been a while. But I should revisit that to see when they anticipate awards.
Just thanks for reviewing the timeline.
Okay,
It's really
okay,
helpful.
and that's
Yeah.
kind of, we'll just go through that. So back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I would agree, that's the timeline, it was extremely helpful.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that update. And then, how about, business item B, the airport?
B1 is the approval of airport rates and changes, and that's something that Charlie's been working on, so I'll let him just kind of review that quickly with you and bring you up to speed on what we're doing.
Yeah, so a little bit. So currently our structures at the airport, some of the fees is based on aircrafts. So I've been getting feedbacks from pilots that's really unfair because some of the planes in the same group as light jets, some of them are paying more, some of them paying less, which is in the industry standards. It doesn't matter how big you are, as long as you're in the light jet group, you're paying for the same exact price. So which is why I feel like it's an urge to change. Your light jet, your very light jet, which is where you don't even have that on the list. On the current list, the very light jet wasn't even on the list. Like your brand new Cirrus Vision jets, all those stuff are not even on there. So that's why I came up with, to be fair, everything's based on your gross, landing weights. So if your landing weight, it's up to 10,000 pounds, you're paying this price for handling fee regardless. So I took out what we call it, before we charging heavily on ramp fees. So nowadays, they changed the wording on that. Now it's called handling fee. So, we're handling the planes, we're chalking them, we're parking them at a certain places, we're giving them full, Jet A service to the plane. So, and on the right side, we're still following the, the waiver of the industry standards of, if you buy a certain amount of fuel, you'll be waived of the handling fee. So because our main points in the airport is we won't make money out of ramp fee. Our main thing is to sell fuel, jet fuel. If we can get jet fuel flowing, that's when we make money. And then another thing I start seeing really popular within the airports are what we call an infrastructure fees. So it's really a fees to maintain, your facilities, your FBOs, all your fire trucks. Right now we have a van over there. It's for crew transporting, so we only drop the crew off for their lunch and stuff. So I believe that's really important. We already got a lot of pilots are using them already, which is they feel like it's fair of them because local taxis are charging them a gigantic amount for them to drop off at Hosmer's for lunch. $40 one way, one of them told me, which is ridiculous. So they're really happy paying $25 rather than that price for transporting. So I believe that's pretty reasonable for the industry standards. So that's the reason why I created that. For that chart for all the fees, your handling fee, your infrastructure fee, everybody pays a landing fee. So as soon as you land at the airport, you pay a landing fee based on weights. So yeah, that's pretty much that. We don't charge anything for single engine pistons. We're trying not to scare away, our general aviation people, smaller airplanes, your Cessna 172, anything like that. We're not charging them anything heavy. So, just paying your basic handling fee if we chalk you, or basic ramp fee. That's it. And I did get a lot of pilots start asking about fuel discounts. So this is something I put up, which is I believe is really reasonable. If they buy 400 gallons, we'll give them 20 cents discount per gallon. And if it's 1,000, we'll give them 30 cents, 40 cents, 60 cents. I don't think anybody's gonna buy 10,000 gallons, but I just put that on there just in case. So that'll be everything we got, both trucks plus the fuel tanks, if they buy everything we got. But that would be good. I would like it, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But yeah, 5,000 gallon I think will be the cutoff mark, what they're usually buy. And I believe right now, if I remember correctly, Patty, we're making about $2 and something on the per gallons right now on our jet fuels.
I haven't seen the bill.
Okay, so we're close around there somewhere. So within 20, 30 cents, if that can get them to buy, which is a lot of pilots now, their mindset is if I can fly to another airport, if I have enough fuel, if I can fly to a nearest airport, if I'm only 2 hours away, I'm gonna take my jet flying into, let's say, Rochester. If Rochester offers a fuel discount, I'll buy there. Forget buying the October because I can fuel up fully right there. A lot of time people might not think that 20 cents a lot, but for these pilots, some of these pilots, they worry about it because it look good for them to shop for cheaper fuels around. So I believe that's another way of boosting jet fuel sales.
Charlie, on the 10,000 gallon, there's a dollar sign next to the 10,000. That you mean that shouldn't be there, right? Or you're
Yes.
saying a $10,000 purchase?
No, that should not be there. That's just a 10,000 gallons
Yeah,
fuel.
yeah, that's
what I meant.
Okay, just checking.
Yep. So yeah, we've been having a couple pilots that buys a lot of fuel asking about it. One of them, he flies from California out over here, so he always asks about it because he takes a lot of fuel. So
I have a question, Charlie.
yes.
Just, I want to make sure I understand the chart. So just looking at maybe like the helicopter down at the bottom.
Mhm.
So reading, reading across horizontally, each of the handling, infrastructure, ramp fee, these are the fees that anyone landing in a helicopter will incur.
Correct.
Okay. And how do these fees compare to what we had been charging prior to August 14th?
Really comparable.
Okay.
Because what they did before, like I was saying, was you see our ramp fees are reduced a lot right now. So our light jets fee for ramp fees are $81, $81.50 if you look at the ramp fee. Right now for our light jet, we're charging $200 for ramp fees.
And you're hearing complaints.
Okay, so these rates reflect a decrease. The rates have gone down to be a bit more competitive.
Correct. It decreased the ramp fee, but your handling fee still there. But once you're the way the pilot sees it, if I can buy this many gallons of fuel and then raise my handling fee,
I see.
they're happily paying that price because they will buy the fuel just to waive that handling fee. A lot of them will.
The contingency is the fuel. We want to incentivize buying fuel.
Correct.
Okay.
And a lot of them do. A lot of them do. They'll be like, top it off. I don't care what it is, just top it off. So I can, if it gets there, then it waives that fee, that handling fee. So.
Okay, and the overall cost, I know we don't know yet, right? I mean, Patty, we don't have enough data yet, but over time, we'll be able to see how that's really
Correct.
impacting us economically.
Right, bringing in fuel sale, because
Right.
we'll be able to tell for monthly for delivering, I mean, each time they're delivering about 8,000 gallons.
Okay.
If we're getting 16,000 gallons every 2 weeks, then we're flowing through fuels fast.
Right, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the average plane take for fuel?
It depends on the class of jets. I mean, a lot of jets, very light jets, 150 gallons like nothing. I mean, some of the bigger jets, medium jets, they take, well, this last one we just had takes about 600 gallons of fuel. They already waived their 300 already right there, but they took 600 double.
So I guess where my question comes in, you've got 5,000 gallons, I don't want a jet taking 5,000 gallons of fuel, are they? It's flying into here?
There is.
There is?
Mm-hmm. Some of the Gulfstreams, they'll take about
They would take
4,000 to 5,000 gallons of fuel
Okay.
if they're fully empty.
So
That might pump everything we got,
I'm
out of
concerned
the
that
trucks.
We're gonna create a bill out there where people would add, let's say, is that 5,000 gallons a trip or a month? If we had to get to 5,000, we had filled twice, we're gonna hold money, I was concerned about that.
No, usually a lot of them, the one good thing we have is we have the software. The minute they buy, they bill out right away. So they're getting bill out, and then, so we're all good there.
Any other questions for Charlie on this?
Nope, I like it.
You'll bring this before the board
Yep, I'll bring it
for
up to the board.
for a board resolution.
That gives us a breakdown we haven't had before.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm sorry.
Do we take action on this?
We should recommend it go to the full
Yeah.
board. I'll make that motion.
Take a motion.
Yeah, and I'll second.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. All right, and now we are down to the airport expansion project update.
Yep. I'll just do a quick update on that. We're meeting every 2 weeks with our engineers, and then we have a monthly meeting with the firm that is representing the DOT, and they oversee everything and kind of put our feet to the fire with schedule and budget and how we're doing there. So that's been going fairly well. We're pretty much on schedule. Just on our high view, we look to the phase 1 is moving the service equipment building, GSE building, and working on utilities. And that will be, those bid documents will be out within the next month and probably be bid in September. So that's the preliminary work that we need to do to move things around to prep that. And then the bid documents and bidding will be December of 2023 for the main, for everything, for the building and all of that. We're 30% complete on design on phase 2. We're 90% complete on phase 1. The one thing that I need to ask you about, I don't know if you guys were here, but does the board have to approve the PLA? You approve
We approved the cost of the study.
That's right. And the state needed that,
It
but I
should
was
come
wondering,
back- it should
okay,
come back
well,
to the full board.
it's not quite done, but it may come under other such matters for the August board meeting.
That's fine.
But I just want, that's the one thing that has to be in place for even phase 1 bidding. We want that all in the documents. So that's a requirement of that. So that's where we are schedule wise. So just to give you an update, because there was such a time frame between us getting the award and what we originally went into, we had to do some scope reductions to align with our budget. So working with our engineers and with our staff, we talked about some different things. Basically, we shrunk the buildings somewhat, and that meant we would reuse the existing canopy. You can see on there the reduction of the new canopy. The original baggage canopy was that 40 feet? It's down to what, 19 or 20 right now, and that's plenty of room. But those are the kind of things that we had to take a long, hard look at. The great room has been reduced by 34%, but it hasn't really affected the look of everything. Everything kind of feels the same. We've removed scope to expand the back of house space at the existing building, which means we're turning the whole security 90 degrees and rearranging those offices there. There are some finish changes and reductions. The building has been brought down by 1 foot in height. That reduces some of the costs. And then, like I said, we're at 30% design, and I think we've really gotten to all of the reductions, but we'll see when bids coming up. But currently, with only 30% of the design done, there's $1.5 million budget gap there that will come from either value engineering or further reductions in what we're looking at for building materials and things like that. Any questions on that?
Not for me.
Okay. Utility coordination. We met with the city and Dank to discuss the water and sewer tie-in. That went fairly well. There's a little more kind of regulatory stuff that we would have to do if we are granted the use of city water. I believe there's a water district that we may have to create as an entity to, because of the nature of how we're getting the water. We're just not another user. We're technically have to be. This is according to Dank. Well, they've got a lot of experience because they handle a lot of sewer and water for Jefferson County and Fort Drum and all that. So they kind of know, they've seen all of this before, but Dank is handling a lot of the city's municipal utilities. We've already conducted a flow test on the water service. No issues there. We've got plenty of water pressure there, right? And then we're working on the solar and the EV charging there. We're in communications and negotiations over with some firms there that what we're planning on putting is a canopy that has the solar on top of that. And then basically we plug in to the airport, and we believe that the size of what we're working at will work.
Yes.
For powering
demand
the terminal.
future as well.
And part of our finances was part of a security grant that we got where we asked for 2 generators. And being that this is solar, we may go to battery storage type of generator to where you charge the battery, and then at night when you have low power demand, you basically run the whole building off the battery, and then it runs down, and then you recharge it there. But you're not using directly off the grid. So instead of putting out a diesel or natural gas powered, engine generator, it would be something that would be stored on either on the rooftop or in one of the mezzanines. And that would power the building, after hours type of thing. But what we've planned will match up with the uses of the building. So, and then we also along that, we'd have EV charging stations. There's going to be one because there will be electric support vehicles on the air side. So we are going to put EV charging in that building. So that electric, eventually there's going to come where they're going to be, what are they called? The tow things will be electric, tow motors and things like that. So we've made allowances for that. Number 3 is space programming discussions. We're talking about with Charlie's office, we're going to move that to the corner with a view of the ramp. We want him to be kind of integrally involved with everything that's going on, but also he does need to take a look at what's going outside his office. So we're going to try to work with him to get him in the best place that works for him. The airline office would be moved to a position with a door to the ramp. There's still discussions on that. Depends on what TSA comes back on for their review of our drawings. And then additional space found in the parking office reshovel. This is a space that will be called unassigned, and it could be used as an office. And with that, we are putting a conference room in there that will be maybe half the size of this, but the idea would be we can rent that out or use it as part of any event out there, or also have a board meeting out there, which would be kind of a nice thing, a change of scenery. And then our engineers did give us a walkthrough digitally, which was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And we can do that for the board, just so that it's you know, electronic version of your tour of everything in it. You can tell it what time of day and the shadows and everything work with, and what you'll see light coming through and all of that is really high tech. We were really impressed with that, but that'll be something they'll present to us. And they can do it, you know, by Zoom. So, so far so good. And then on other things that aren't mentioned here, we're working with Charlie and Anthony and things talking about different uses for this space, and we've got some time, but it's closing in on us, so that we need to know. Like right now, we're really working hard on the kitchen area and kind of deciding how far we want to go with the funding that we have, and it's, you know, how we see it, and we'll need feedback on that too. So, any questions?
I just have a quick question about the great room and the reduction in the size by about a third, right? Do you know, Steve, how many people capacity-wise that will impact? Like, did the capacity go from?
I think it went from 250 roughly to 200. Yeah, and then you'll see this in the walkthrough, which I knew it looking at drawings, but they actually show where there's 3 different configurations where you can set up the size of the room you want, and also how you can segregate the airport operation from another event, which really gives you a lot of options for that. So I think we were going for 250, and it depends on what you're going to have. If you're going to have a conference with lots of tables, or you're going to have a dinner or something like that, that changes. But I think, you know, I think we're looking at 250 generally speaking, and I think now it's down roughly around 200.
Okay. And those are conversations you said we will have soon about, you know, really brainstorming potential marketing, how we're going to market it, what we're going to use for it, because that will really impact kitchen, right, and decisions like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Any other questions? Move on to the report.
Okay, on the dock expansion, this has been out there a long time, but just to give you where we're at, we've approached this with a kind of a 2-prong way of looking at building the dock wall, and one of them is cell construction with a dredging prior to construction. So you'd put up they're O-shaped cells that would be filled, and you'd put them along, they'd be in a row for about 500 feet. And that's the traditional way of doing it. So we talked to the state partially because of worrying about materials and price. We wanted to have an old-pile construction that would give contractors a number of ways to approach the project. So you see in there, option number 1 was the traditional cell construction, and the old-pile construction would be where you drive, really that's pipe, and you drive that into the rock, you grout them into the rock, and then you tie them off back, and then you backfill behind them. It's in, like you say, it says in there, a series of interlocking pipe piles combined with rock anchors to be installed. So option 1 is pretty well designed. Option 2 will be done within the next 6 weeks. And then with that, we should be ready for bid documents. We're in partners with DOT, so they have to approve this project and approve the design. So the public bidding strategy is that we bid more than one design separately and make sure contractors know they're bidding on something separately, and we would award them based on, you know, price and like no one could combine something or whatever. The thing is, we got to be completely clear on how we go about that. So, but it, like I say in here, it helps capture the market response and volatility in the market for materials, and bidding 2 projects results in savings and significant costs, making the projects more feasible. And I gave you the update on that. Would be probably going out to bid and probably begins construction in June or July of next year. A lot of that will be based on permitting. When a lot of times around the river, you can't get your permits early because of spawning and things like that. So any questions on that?
I'm good. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Wait and see how those bids come in.
Yeah. This part of this, or is this part of personnel?
No, it's such matters.
Under such matters, staff has been working on a branding style guide. And with that, we wanted to make things more uniform because especially for the new people here, when they go back and look at all of our documents going way back, there's no uniformity in anything, whether it's fonts, design, color, and things like that. And just going forward, we as a group thought that we should kind of make things kind of as a guide for everybody to use. So we put this together and just wanted to give you a look-see at it and get your thoughts. We really haven't got, I guess really we want to introduce you to it and to see what you think on it.
And you're speaking about the logo?
Yes, logo, everything you see on there are things that kind of would be our kind of our branding of the Bridgeport, you know, communications, advertising, different things there. And it, you know, it'll probably be, it's kind of a living document. It'll be upgraded as we go along, but that's our first attempt at it.
I want a ship.
Hmm?
I want a ship.
Oh, under the bridge or on itself, by itself?
I don't know. I mean, everybody knows we have a bridge. But it'd be nice to highlight the port. Even the airport, I don't know. Because then now you're looking at all different parts of this and that may be too much. What do you think, Anthony?
I think there's been previous attempts to try to integrate the different operating arms to different varying degrees of success. And it kind of all boils back down to the bridge.
Are you talking about the top image, Sam? You're looking at the top image.
The primary logo.
Yes.
Logo.
Okay.
And I don't know, I mean, you can't put too much in it because then it just distracts from everything.
We could put a jet in the sky and ship from.
Somebody did a design a long time ago in the early 2000s, and I can show you, and you'll look at it and you'll wonder exactly what it was all about. And it was kind of that they were trying to combine everything, but it was a drawing rather than that.
It was one of the shipping at one time, I remember.
The original
But it
logo,
didn't-
I believe, was
Yeah,
right, ship and bridge.
Yes.
maybe it's just not possible.
Simple is the way.
Simple may be the best.
Well, anyway, just want to introduce you to that and make you aware that we're working on that.
Can I ask about the color choices, the blue, yellow, red, are they like, do they have meaning, or are they representative of anything, or just, just wondering about the colors?
Well, I guess they're more, I'd say they're a little more muted
See,
for blues and yellows.
has to be Toronto blue.
There's a colors in the logo above the primary logo.
You see in the,
Right,
well,
this
like
one.
in that picture right there.
Right, no, I understand that, but I'm just wondering, where they were derived from, how they were chosen.
Well, it came out, that was the original
Got it.
logo
Okay.
right there, and that's kind of what we pulled out there. And if you'll notice, when you do a look at national brands, there's certain colors I can put in front of you and you would instantly say a national brand.
Mhm.
Just, I don't know, like a Target color.
Or if this middle one were what you think, like maybe Pepsi or something, PepsiCo, right? Is that what
Right,
you mean?
yeah, they all have,
The red and white.
they all have their,
Right.
yeah, that.
So I'm sorry, my error, I didn't
No,
realize,
no.
I thought this was a new logo that had just been created, I didn't know.
No, that's been the one that's been there forever. And
Okay.
I don't mind it with that, but depends on how, part of this is what can we do in-house at the least amount of cost, I guess. You could hire somebody and all of that. So it's, like I said, it's a living document. We can come up with some things there that, like Sam said, maybe there's something that needs to be in there, introducing either the port or the airport.
And right now, our logo is like, I guess it's a question. Is our logo used on, like, how far reaching, like, obviously letterhead, our website, any type of merchandising we do, whether it's a fleece or a hat, this is uniform, correct? That's my question. Okay.
For the most part, if it's embroidered, it's just blue and white.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But we're pretty consistent with the use of this logo. We're not sort of all over the map with
Right,
different images. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that's important. I mean, I think that uniform is really.
Anything else?
Just wanted to let everyone know that we're talking with E-Transit. Does the toll booth, or the mechanics at the toll booth, they're coming up to Syracuse the end of August. So as they're in Syracuse, they're going to come up here. We're making a list from the folks in the toll booth themselves, plus things that Kathy and I have noticed, reporting different things like that, to see what we might already be able to do but don't know how to do, or do we need software upgrades, which would then include possibly hardware upgrades, things like that. And we're going to get a set of costs, like to do this upgrade, you do this upgrade, and then we can see what we might be able to tap.
We've cannibalized almost everything from the satellite booth inward, and that's even starting to fail. So we're what, eight years in this stuff? How old is this? 8 or
At
9?
least
8 years old, and we're a victim of our financial circumstances that getting, it's too important. We got to bite the bullet on this because we've been going too long, and the toll collectors have been complaining about the status of some of the equipment out there.
Things go down.
And
The commuter lane should be like an easy pass. Just saying.
Got 1.2 mil for each one.
I just see a smile on my face.
and
It's sort of wish list.
and hurry and go through and then wait over there while you're getting,
I know.
and then the same goes, I mean,
I know.
everyone,
One car
it's different.
length ahead.
Yeah. It's different when you're coming off 81 and going on the throughway. You don't slow down one bit. But the one issue here is once you hit Easy Pass here, you're 1.5 miles and then you're stopped at the mercy of Canadian Customs or coming the other way. with
But
US.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about things though, like, I mean, because I'm a frequent flyer and I use the commuter path a lot, or the lane, commuter lane, but even, I mean, are they looking are we looking at brainstorming situations, even like maybe being able to like not have to put your window down to scan, like maybe a higher.
I don't know what's out there.
scanner, that type of thing.
If,
A lot of
Yeah, I
the
think
equipment
it's-
has to be, we have, one of the scanning pads went down last weekend.
Okay.
So we're looking at how do we upgrade it and what can we do? So that would be probably a
Right,
question.
okay.
Could you use it without having to put your window down? But they're already going down. One of the brand new credit card machines went down on Friday.
Jeez, okay.
So we had to buy new cables. And the trouble is, they get used 24 hours a day. So every time you put that credit card machine out the window, you're scraping the cable,
Mhm.
or somebody pulls it too hard, or,
Right.
whatever the case might be.
Okay.
So we're looking at all the different upgrades that will have to be done, and they'll give us quotes, and then we'll say, okay, we can do this, we can
Right.
do this, we can do this.
Okay.
Good.
You're right about that, though, Steve. You're exactly right about that.
yeah, no,
Big hurry to get, now I know where.
or you get ahead of the guy in front of you or whatever, but I think you go
And
there
if
and
they open up the
swamp.
lane, he assumes that you're still.
The other
Right.
thing you have to remember is if you go easy pass, the state will look at something.
I wasn't
10%
saying
again.
easy pass, I was saying like
Well, no,
easy pass, like.
and that may be
like
the
sort of
solution,
just where,
right?
you know, if there's a reader, where instead of having a card, maybe there's like a.
Well, that's probably the way it's gonna go.
That's
I mean,
the way
you're right,
everything
because everybody's
is
doing
gone.
that, whether you've got a
You go to the Mass Pike, and
Radio
they'll read your
or-
license plate.
reader, right?
We should have got those, where you said, throw the change in.
When
Should go to-
the toll collector throws the dime in.
When they were getting rid of those, going to automatic,
Right.
we should have got a couple.
Yeah, upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cashless,
Yeah,
you just, everything's just billed
right.
to your, yeah. I'm
Anything else?
not advocating that.
Anything else from the board?
No,
No?
thank you.
In that case, I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Dick.
you.
Thank you.
And now you can leave.